Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Alyn. Coming up in about 10 minutes from now, maybe a little bit less, we'll be spending some time with Gary Stewart and talking about suicide. We had a pretty rough show last week. It was talking about the suicide of the celebrities who died in the last couple of weeks. We're going to continue this week. We're going to have another guest in the next few weeks on suicide, because I think it's important to address. I really do. Our guest right now is Dr. Julie Rosenberg. Her book is called Beyond the Mat, using yoga techniques to achieve a well-balanced life. Would that be a good description, do you think, Dr. Rosenberg?
Well, the yoga techniques, Mark, they're very diverse techniques. And, in modern society, so many people view yoga as a fashion exercise where we dress up in interesting clothing and go to a studio and do a workout on a mat. And actually, it's a very complex framework for living and leading, which I try to distill down to help people adopt what I consider fairly simple principles that will really help their lives improve dramatically. And this is part of my premise of taking charge of our health. I think it is so important. And on the path to happiness, one thing that I can say with certainty is that having good health is a big component of that. It's really.
But having good health is it. I mean, you can have $1 billion without good health. What have you got?
Absolutely.
Right?
No, absolutely. I think that so many people face that realization that you just offered at a critical time. They're focused on success, whatever success may be in their view, and suddenly and unexpectedly something happens, and it's a health-related problem, and the tables turn, and then people redirect their whole life, oftentimes living it and leading it in a different way, but they may be compromised by some type of disease. So what I'm trying to do is impact people overall to try to say, okay, how can we live our best lives in as good a health as we can for the longest period of time? Because the other thing I'm really mindful about is that people are aging. Baby boomers are getting older. The average age in the U.S. is almost 79 years. We don't want
Whoa. The average age in the U.S. is 79?
No, the average age at death. Sorry if I've misspoken. The average age of life that people will survive to is about 79 currently overall. Again, I'm not segregating male, female,
right?
But overall, so we're living longer and longer, and what we want to do is live in a healthy manner, and we need to maintain our health.
At home, do you practice this at home with your family? I mean, do you do yoga sessions together, or have you taught family members?
I have taught some family members to do yoga, but I am also very focused on general healthy lifestyles. So again, this is a framework for living and leading, but not to the exclusion of watching diet, not to the exclusion of cardiovascular exercise, and importantly, stress is killing us nowadays.
Oh, boy.
So having healthy relationships is very important, and trying to be ingrained in a way that you can manage whatever job you may do, whether that's a senior level corporate executive or whether that is a person staying at home and caring for children. We all have stress. There's no differentiators. And it's how we manage our internal environment that will be tantamount to our overall health and well-being and our sense of that health and well-being.
You mentioned diet, you mentioned cardiovascular exercise. We grow up, I'm assuming that you grew up with a similar type of background that I did, with not particularly healthy foods. How do you break that chain, or do you? Or is moderation the key?
Well, I have to say the assumption that you made about not having healthy foods around, I actually did live in a very healthy environment because both my parents modeled that, and so I did grow up with that. However, going to school, being in college, being around, being in a corporate role, we're always tempted to have things that may or may not be supportive of our health. And I actually think that diet is a bit of a four-letter word. Unless one has a specific food intolerance or problem, healthy and mindful eating is really the way to go. And what I really advise people, Mark, is to just be aware. Be aware of what you're eating, the calories, what it's going to be, what the impact may be. And then that awareness hopefully will lead to good choices. For example,
I'll give you an example. For Father's Day, I was with my 93-year-old father-in-law, and because of the hot dogs that he insisted that we have for dinner, he didn't want anything else. Okay, my cholesterol had to have gone up 40 points. We are out of time right now. We're going to ask Dr. Rosenberg to come back in 6 weeks, 2 months or so. She'll let us know when she's available. The name of the book is Beyond the Mat. You can find it at Amazon, and of course go to her website. You can do that the easiest way. Go to latenighthealth.com. There'll be a little article about Dr. Rosenberg, as well as a photo and a link to her website. We're out of time. Gary Stewart's up next. Don't go away. More coming up.